Welcome to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim, where the truth matters and progressives' feelings don't. We bring you the facts from the perspective of two average, everyday guys who will never apologize for being America first, for adhering to our great Constitution, and for saluting the flag that our brothers and sisters have fought and died for. And now, here's Dale and Jim.
Here we are, big weed and little weeds. The night before your big game.
State championship game. We're number 10. Just like you.
That's your number now, brother. This is your time, Ryan. And you can win it with this team.
You'll be there, right?
I wouldn't miss it for the world, Ryan.
Ryan, would you like anything to eat?
I'm fine, thanks, Mom.
Well, tomorrow is going to be a big, big day. Get some rest, okay?
All right, love you.
Love you too.
Homewood High School, let's give a big Patriot welcome to your football captain. I'm proud to call him my little brother, although he's not so little anymore, Ryan Weaver.
I don't know about you, but I'm ready for game time. The Giants are going to be tough, but we're going to leave it out on the field for you. I'm dedicating this game to our brother Aaron. And to all the heroes who are willing to lay down their lives for us. Thank you for giving us the freedom to chase our dream. Now let's go win this game!
Alright, here we are at the Georgia 2A State Championship football game between the Pinewood Patriots and the Glenwood Giants.
You good, bro? Yeah.
All right, men. We got one half of football to live forever, to be champions. For 30 minutes, I need us to impose our will. One play, one down at a time. We haven't seen anything from this team that we haven't seen or expected. So now it's about executing. When we do that, we will be champions. It's holding ourselves accountable. It's playing with poise. And it's playing for each other. It's not about me. It's not about the coaches. It's about you. It's about the last time that this team will be together. This team exists today for this season. You've earned it. Now let's go out and do it.
Hey team, this is the last game we're ever going to play.
Let's go!
Yeah!
Lying awake, I toss and turn, just trying to sleep. Praying to God you're up there somewhere thinking of me. Thoughts are burning, lost in yearning for your company. It's a daily fight not to lose my mind, that's how it's gonna be. I hope I'm strong enough to keep my heart from breaking into a million parts. cards without you. So I take the pain and I push it down, even though it hurts like the day I found out you were gone. You were gone, and it still seems like yesterday. We were high up in that live oak tree, blue skies above, the world at our feet, and I followed you, you were everything. Now I wonder what you think of me. Well, the world's moved on since you've been gone, it's just another day. Sometimes when I speak, I think it's something you might say. My heart races, beats so hard inside of me. When the radio's on and I hear a song that I wanna sing, loud enough to reach your heart, somewhere out there in the stars, and I miss you. So I take the pain and I push it down, even though it hurts like the day I found out you were gone. You were gone, and it still seems like yesterday. We were out riding our bikes in the street, blue skies above, the world at our feet, and I followed you, you were everything. Now I wonder what you think of me. So I take the pain and I push it down, even though it hurts like the day I found out you were gone. God, I miss you.
Ryan, come on, get up.
Come on, son.
This is your time, Ryan.
Are you good? Are you good?
I'm good.
Oh, I take the pain and I push it down, even though it hurts like the day I found out you were gone. You were gone, and it still seems like yesterday. American goose acting cool in the heat, blue skies above, the world at our feet, and I followed you, you were everything. Now I wonder what you think of me. Lying awake, I wonder what you think of me.
Think fast. You're the big weave now. Really proud of you. And Aaron's proud of you too. You're always with me.
Folks, we are honored to have with us today Ryan Weaver. Ryan, U.S. Army vet and country recording artist. We're going to go into detail about your career, both personally and professionally. Just a little bit about you first, for those who don't know, because it's really, your story is unparalleled compared to anybody else I've ever talked to or know in even the country music region. You grew up with a family 11, is in Floral. It was a Floral. Yeah, I got it. Floral City, Florida, which is, if people don't know, it's like north of Tampa, west of Orlando, little town there. After years working in military intelligence, as a military intelligence analyst, you followed the footsteps of your two older brothers. I just want to make sure I get this right, because it's Steve and Aaron. And it was, you did that by attending the Warrant Officer Candidate School and Flight School. In April 2003, you were deployed to Baghdad International Airport in Iraq. You were a Black Hawk Aviator, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yep.
Well, it was shortly after that, January 8th, 2004, when your brother Aaron was killed in action on a Medivac helicopter that he was actually a passenger on. Since then, you have gone on into this. I've skipped a lot, but I want you to talk about it. You've gone on into this country music career, which is absolutely spectacular. And if nobody's heard your music, I suggest these ones. Okay, there's a whole bunch, but I suggest these ones right away. In 2016, Burn, which is an amazing song, but you did it with Kris, Paranto, and John Tiegen. Both of those gentlemen were the basis for the movie 13 Hours, The Secret Soldiers of Benghazi. Those two were there. In 2017, you were named the patriotic voice of the Professional Bull Riders, which I think we're going to get into, and their Celebrate America campaign. In 2017, you wrote a song called Never Forgotten, and it really highlights 9/11 and the firemen and the first responders, and how that flag got placed there on 9/11. Really amazing if you can watch that. Then 2021, let's talk about heroes. And then, of course, one recently, this is just in January, What You Think About Me. And it was a tribute to your brother, Aaron, who died in service. So 20 years in the making for that to happen. An incredibly touching song. And when you know the story behind it, it's even greater than that. You also had, I think, a cousin also killed, if I'm not mistaken, in action. Right. Is it a cousin? Was it a cousin?
Brother-in-law.
Oh, brother-in-law. I'm sorry. But so a 2-time Gold Star family. Honestly, we are honored, Ryan, to have you here. It really is a pleasure. I also want to thank Sandra, a mutual friend, for hooking this up, kind of introducing us. So Sandra, thank you for that. Ryan, again, thank you for coming on. I missed a ton in there. I just want to know the story, and I want to hear it from you. What drew you to service, to serve our country? And we thank you for that, for sure. And then how did you realize you even had talent for like country music? And, I've heard Jim sing. He's terrible. I already know he can't record anything. I'm also, terrible, but I think we could probably work on a duet together at some point. Tell me how that all started and how you got to this point in your life.
Well, sometime before 1973, my mom and my dad were in the back seat of a car.
And what happened there? Can you go into detail about that? Because I don't know what happened.
And that's where all this started.
That's how it started.
That's how it all started. But
this is going to go well, man. I know it. I love you, brother. This is great.
Oh, man. No, I appreciate the summary of what I've experienced over the past 30 or 40 years, 40 years, 50 years, 52 coming, just turned 51 this year. So anyway,
happy birthday.
Yeah, then. I appreciate it. No, my grandfather was a belly gunner in World War II. My dad was a Marine. My oldest brother, Steve, he was in the Ranger Regiment, 2nd of the 75th. He got out, went to 2 years of school, then went back in as an aviator. Aaron, my only full-blood sibling, he went into the 3rd of 75th Ranger Regiment. and he was in the ambush in Mogadishu. That the making of Black Hawk, the book Black Hawk Down, and the making of the movie. He was actually one of the Rangers on the ground. He was the only non-commissioned officer that did get shot in the whole thing, which was interesting. But and I followed in their footsteps, a little bit of a different route. Aaron and Steve went infantry in the Ranger Regiment, and I went military intelligence instead. And then I got stuck on recruiting duty, and I was at my recruiting station on a Sunday night, about to take a kid down to military processing MEPS the next morning. And Aaron called me and said, Ryan, they changed the vision standards for flight school. You got to think about putting your packet in, because as a E4 specialist, I put my or started doing my flight physical, and for some reason I was having problems with either the pupil dilation or something, and it didn't end up working out. And by the time that I was considering doing flight school again, when Aaron actually went into flight school, I didn't think I had 20/20 vision. At the time you needed it, and they changed it to 20/50 correctable to 20/20, and this was 99, 98, 99, 2000 timeframe. So went home and told my ex-wife, who's now my ex-wife, but I told her that I was thinking about putting my packet in, and I put it in, was selected at the next board, and was gone 3 months after that, and attended a warrant officer candidate school in 2000. Was re-stationed to Germany for my first duty station as an aviator, and was deployed to Iraq in 2003. And Aaron was also deployed to Iraq in 2003. And he was actually a cancer survivor, was non-deployable. Got a waiver to be deployed, but he had to get bi-monthly blood screenings for his cancer. And he was a passenger in that Medivac helicopter when he was on his way to Baghdad International Airport, Baghdad International Hospital. I think actually Baghdad Hospital. He was a passenger. It was shot down, and everybody was killed in action. And I came home from Iraq. I was stationed at Baghdad International Airport for the 1st Armored Division. Came home from combat to his funeral. And then at that point, I was non-deployable because of the Sole Survivor Act. There are 2 provisions in the Sole Survivor Act. If you're the sole surviving son, which Aaron was my only full-blood sibling, if you're the sole surviving son, the Saving Private Ryan situation applied. Correct. But also, if you're deployed to combat and your sibling is killed in combat, that is also a provision that was added. You're no longer required to deploy to combat after that point. Now, a lot of folks can look at me and say, well, why didn't you just go back? Why didn't you go back to combat, whatever it is? I mean, I really don't care what people's opinions are about how I dealt with it. For 2 years, I lost the footsteps that I was following in most of my military career, and everything that I did, my standard bearer, you name it. He was a year and 9 months older than me. We were adopted when we were kids by our stepfather, which I call him my dad. He was say stepfather, but Mike, who raised us, who was the Marine. I was really, really close to him, and it took me 2 years to look up in the sky at a Black Hawk, much less get into a cockpit and have other people's lives in my hands when I wasn't not even 10% there, much less 100% there. Because when you fly, obviously you have your crew that's with you, and there are a million decisions that are made a second. And you need to be able to make those decisions to the best of your ability. Of course, human error happens, but if you're not there mentally or emotionally, you don't need to be there. And I was not going to place other people's lives in danger by doing that. So I was restationed to Fort Rucker, attack officer, like warrant officer, like Lewis Gossett Jr., an officer and a gentleman, but they called me the Tasmanian Devil. I was had a lot of passion that I put into the job, a lot of pain, a lot of hurt that was going on. I was in a really dark place for several years, and then I got into music. I started doing in flight school. Before I went to Germany, I started doing karaoke and singing competitions because I went through a divorce in the middle of flight school, and I was broke, and I needed a very cheap way to entertain myself. But then I started winning these singing competitions, and this was late in my 20s, and I was like, wow, this is something I really love to do. I really enjoy it, and it can help me pay my bills. So that extra $200 to $500 for this, or win a big screen television and hawk it off at the pawn shop, whatever it may be. I mean, I was essentially, when I was going through my divorce, back down to private E1 pay, it seemed like. So it was a great entertainment, but also found something that I really love to do, and it's something that had nothing to do with anything as far as Aaron was concerned, and following his footsteps and doing the same thing he did, and he followed in Steve's. It was kind of my own little path there.
Correct.
And then when Aaron died, I decided at that point, I started writing songs in Iraq. But when Aaron died, I decided to start chasing this dream in his honor, because I no longer had a desire to fly. I finished up my career training future officers, future warrant officers, to move to the warrant officer side of things and fill his boots, which was incredibly difficult to do. But yeah, so I started going from South Alabama at Fort Rucker to Nashville and doing the club scene, the festival scene. Oh, let me digress. I entered into the Fort Rutgers military auto competition, and I got runner-up. The guy who won went to nationals, and that weekend was Fort Rutgers' 50th anniversary celebration. And Darryl Worley and Tracy Lawrence came in to perform, and I got to perform with the Fort Rutgers, or I got to perform right before the Fort Rutgers rock band, essentially. And they watched my show and said it was a few non-commissioned officers that were performing in the bars off post, and they had already got their gigs booked and everything. They said, "Hey, we've been doing classic rock in all the bars, and the bars are asking us for country music. Are you interested in fronting our band?" And I said, "If you guys are okay with me," I already had the marketing plan, I already had the name, I already had the banners, I had it all set up, ready to rock and roll for when it happened. It was all sitting in my apartment at the time. And I said, as long as you guys are okay with making it Ryan Weaver and Ride, and keeping your gigs booked. And they said, "Man, we just do this for extra money. We're not trying to make it famous, but we're happy to do it." So that was a Saturday, and the Thursday right after that, I did my first show in a bar.
Wow.
And then and then set the goal every 6 months to move to move to larger clubs. And at 7 months, I was had the fortunate opportunity to open up for Montgomery Gentry and Trace Adkins, along with there were several other festivals that happened at Fort Rucker at that time. Then I had a band to play with me, so it just escalated from there. And then 2012, I retired from the military, so moved up to Nashville in 2012 and started going after it here in Nashville.
Yep.
And it's been a wild ride since.
You named some of my all-time favorites. Country singers. You've got the sound.
You opened
too.
for Charlie Daniels too. I mean,
when I first heard you sing,
being shy, but that's
when I first heard you sing. It's ironic because Darryl Worley and Aaron Tippin came in to my mind. The sound, and it's funny that you said Darryl Worley and Tracy Lawrence, and so I got a question. I've listened to your song, I watched your videos, and you are still an independent artist. Is that correct?
Yes.
How has no record label picked you up? I'm shocked, especially when you hear some of the other stuff that's coming out right now. It's like, what?
You don't have to answer this, but is it liberal Nashville? That's
what's
the problem.
What's that?
You don't have to answer this, but
I'll answer whatever you want. I'll be straightforward with you about it.
Is it liberal Nashville? That's a problem.
That's what it is.
Record labels are owned by New York and Los Angeles. They're not. I mean, a lot of folks. The way that country music used to be back in the day, like you could go watch the Johnny Cash movies and whatnot, and you could take the tapes to the record. Or you could take your tape to a radio station, and a radio station could break you. Like they could break you out into, and that's what happened with Johnny Cash. And then there's so many other artists back in the day that did it that way. It's not that way anymore. I came into town in 2006 for they called it the George Jones University, and George Jones University was at George Jones's ranch. And essentially, what you got to do was pay $300 to hand out your business card, network with folks, listen to industry speakers and all that kind of stuff. And they did it where in George Jones's barn, where he keeps kept his bus. Anyway, one of the first speakers that got up, his name is Wayne Halper. He was the COO of Capitol Records when Garth Brooks took off, I believe. He's a scumbag lawyer that takes advantage of independent artists and all that stuff. When he, I didn't know that, but at the time he still had a decent reputation. But anyway, he gave me some of the most valuable advice that I got in all of any time that I've been, because country music, it's like you struggle and you grind and you struggle and you grind and you struggle and you got to figure out your own way. And it's such a competitive business. Getting someone who actually will mentor you and give you straightforward advice about the business, it's really difficult. But this guy, as scumbag of his lawyer as he was he was a lawyer when he got up on stage, and he gave me two pieces of advice, and they were this. He said, there are two things that are going to make you successful in this town: how much money you have and who you know. That's it. He said, talent is not one of those things that's going to make you successful in this town, because they can make you sound like whatever they want to make you sound like.
It's true.
Taylor Swift is a perfect example.
Perfect example.
Perfect example. And Tim McGraw, the auto tune. I love him as an artist, but the auto tune is there. I mean, it is what it is. But and all the artists that you listen to on the radio now, they're all Kanye Westing it and whatnot. It is what it is. But who you know and how much money you have. And he said the money can open up doors to give you the who you know. And if you have somebody that is in a big enough place that really likes what you want, they can help you get the money and open up doors as well. But the bottom line is, if you don't have the money, you're not going to make it. That's somebody has to give you money to either invest in you or put money behind you. And record labels, once the CD disappeared, record labels were no longer giving deals to people that were just, hey, we're going to pay for your record and we're going to invest in you and here is $2 million. No, and all we're going to do is take money from your CD sales. No, then all of a sudden they started doing 360 deals where they're taking your merchandise and they're taking your ticket sales and they're taking all that stuff. And those 360 deals are sort of coming out, unless you come into the mix like Taylor Swift did, where your parents buy a third of Big Machine Records with $14 million, and then you get your record deal. Those are the things about the industry a lot of folks don't realize, because people say, Ryan, I love your music. It sounds great. It sounds like it should be on the radio. Well, if I had $35,000 a month to push a song out to radio before you even heard it for the first 8 months, which is essentially what they do. If they have $1 million to put behind a song, they say this in Nashville: the best way to make $1 million in Nashville is to start with two. That's the best way to make $1 million is to start with two.
Insanity. Wow.
So I will say this: the Celebrate America EP that we did with the Professional Bull Riders, Bull Riders actually paid for that, and that was not a formal record deal. Because there was no radio promotion and all the different things that were coming with it. There was a bunch of PR which came along with it. 28 arena performances, which gave me massive exposure. The biggest, from Madison Square Garden at T-Mobile Arena to AT&T Stadium, I got to perform as the solo performing artist for their events, which was great. Except for the World Finals, there were several other folks out there, but I was the headlining act, replacing Steven Tyler. He was 16, I was 17 at the World Finals. But so, I mean, that's I'm actually a cool announcement that's going to be coming up. I can kind of give you a heads up on it. But the guy, if you listen to Crank It, Like a Love Song, we have Crank It, Like a Love Song, New Set of Tires, those three songs that I have out. The producer who produced those is Chemo Forrest, and he is the rhythm guitar player for Alabama. He's a producer, and he has an independent record label. And he and I are in discussions right now to sign me on to an independent record deal.
Nice.
Cool. CCB Records, an independent record deal. We're going to use his distribution to be able to get the songs out there and whatnot, but also some PR and some shows and smaller level, because quite honestly, every song that I've put out has been self-funded, with exception to the Celebrate America EP. Every music video I put out has been self-funded. Wow. We've done it all on our own, so I own all my own stuff. Nobody else gets a piece of that pie, which I'm fortunate. And I have to thank my fans, friends, family, all of the people that have helped me get these done. Angels out there that have put their hard-earned money to help us get this done. Like, let's talk about Heroes was a big one. What You Think of Me was a big one. Burn was an even bigger one. I mean, these music videos are not cheap. The way that I do my music videos, We have a storyline with them. It's more than just
it's like a
performance
motion
scene.
picture almost,
Right.
you know?
Well,
Exactly.
the last one was essentially a short film.
Short film. Yep.
That's what we were trying to do. So, and I know that was a really long answer to your question, but record, I'll give you so when I was with the PBR, the Professional Bull Riders, IMG, International Modeling Group, owns, and they're out of New York, owns William Morris Endeavor, the UFC, and the Professional Bull Riders. IMG is as far left as you can possibly go. The PBR is almost as far right as you could possibly go, and so is the UFC. UFC is more libertarian, I would say, because he's just like, I don't give a shit what anybody.
Agreed.
PBR is more conservative because it's Western culture. And if you listen to the Celebrate America EP, there's a song on there called "Get Up or Get Out." It's actually called "Get Up." We recorded, the PBR paid for that, and that on the album. I co-wrote it with Win Varble, who wrote "Have You Forgotten?" Me Waiting on a Woman, Just Got Back from the War. So the Daryl Worley, he wrote all those. I co-wrote "Get Up" with him. He produced that album. And then when I went to perform live, they said, Ryan, you can't perform the song live because IMG says that they don't want to offend anyone. And oh, by the way, it just so happens that Colin Kaepernick is IMG's biggest client.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh yeah, that would be shameful.
Jesus Christ.
So
okay.
So anyway, so I co-wrote a song. It got approved to be on the album by the CEO of the Professional Bull Riders, and then they wouldn't let me perform it live because IMG heard it, and IMG's boss, the CEO of the PBR's boss is the boss of the owner of IMG's.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
oh my gosh.
Take us to Burn. Love it. I mean, just the energy, everything within the video and the song itself. Take us through what was it? The incident that made you write it, or what made you what I'm trying to think of a great word, but what
inspired it?
Yeah, thank you. The inspiration.
Yeah, he's
what
the
was the
reader,
inspiration
Ryan.
that made you write it? Because I have no talent as far as writing goes, or singing, or anything like that. But so when I hear a singer-songwriter and then you sing the songs that mean so much, it comes from the heart. It's just impressive. So what brought this on, and where were you at when you wrote it? I guess those type of things.
So if you watch Burn, the acoustic guitar player in the video is Craig Wilson. He passed away a couple years ago. But he and I wrote a lot of the songs. Like we wrote "What You Think of Me." We wrote "Burn." We wrote "Let's Talk About Heroes" with Dave Bray. But so Craig and I wrote. It was essentially the original write of that song was a military focused song. It was not, and it wasn't tied to this. And then I did the volunteer jam. It was a concert festival that Charlie Daniels had put on with the original Lynyrd Skynyrd from 1969 on. I got to perform between Ted Nugent and Michael W. Smith at the volunteer jam in 15. And they were promoting 13 Hours at the time. So that was in November, I believe, in 15. No, September, October, November. I did volunteer jam before I did September 11th. It was volunteer jam first, and then did the Opry with Charlie on September 11th and 15th. So anyway, they were promoting 13 Hours. It was supposed to come out, I believe, in January the next year. And John Tiegen and Mark Geist were there. And I met both of them when they were promoting it. And Mark Geist initially and I were having conversations about getting my music into the film itself. So I said, he said, do you have any music? I could present it to folks or whatever. To the folks at Paramount. And I said, I have a song called Burn. I can send you the work tape on it to see what you think. And then I sent it to him and he said, can you make it more specific to the movie? Because our circumstance, I guess, would be, and because I got to know a little bit about that. And I said, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll take the armed forces, the lyrics about specific to armed forces, and we can make it about anybody, fighting side by side in combat, which is what it turned into. So rewrote the lyrics, and then Mark Geis kind of wasn't involved after that point. But John Tiegen really got him on board, and he actually reached out to Paramount and got an authorization for us to use the trailer clips from the film, which is why you see parts of the movie in the video. Paramount gave me an authorization to use the trailer clips for the film to promote the film as a promotional. They gave them to me for free, which I have. I mean, so you have multi-million-dollar scenes in the music video that I would have never been able to afford. And they're mixed in throughout us, the scenes that we did, and the scenes, because I mean, we have overhead drone shots that are married up right next to the overhead drone shots from the film in there. So if you watch them, like they're doing a range movements and that kind of stuff, and got some special effects with some drone shots in there too. But and John helped me get the music video funded. He was a pivotal person in getting it all done. He reached out to Kris Paranto because I didn't know Kris at the time. He reached out to Kris. Kris jumped on board. And when Kris jumped on board, we got the basic funding for it because we had a basic level of funding. And then we had to continue to raise more money because I mean, I had to fly John in, I had to fly Kris in, I had to fly. I mean, if you watch the video, it's all law enforcement, first responder, military or military families. The jet that we get in at the end of it, that's the exact same kind of jet that they flew out on. Which was really cool, a heck of a coincidence. That jet happened to fly in the day before, and we had this little teeny tiny airplane that we are going to use, but that jet flew in the day before, and the director called me and said, "Hey Ryan, I got this jet that I believe is the exact same kind of jet that they flew out in. It just flew in. It's going to cost us $1,000 to rent it." And I said, "To rent it? It's for it to be just like in the scene?" It's like, if we wanted it. And I said, well, I mean, that's as genuine of a storyline as you're going to get.
Yeah.
We're getting on that jet just like they did. I mean, John Tiegen and Kris Paranto got on it. I mean, thing is, we could only stand up on the top of the stairs, could not go past the doorway in the jet. That was so we weren't allowed to actually go in it.
Yeah.
So all you saw,
what do you
when
want
you see
for $1,000, right?
We can't even walk inside. No, you could just walk up the stairs and have this jet in the scene. But you don't realize that that's $1,000 that just went poof, just like that.
Right. That's crazy.
I mean, sure, I could have had a dual prop plane that whatever, and then we get all these incredible Jeeps that drove in from Fab Four. Bumpers got involved in Fab Four Jeeps, and I mean, we have $250,000 Jeep builds, and there's just so much that was involved in it. And then we had to rent the hangar that we had to rent that for the live performance shots, and obviously the production and all that kind of stuff. Fortunately, the house that we filmed in, we didn't have to rent. That was the director's parents' house, so that was cool.
That's nice.
Yeah, I mean, but we had a ton of volunteers drove in to be part of the movie. A lot of folks were just fans of John and Kris that wanted to be involved. We had a lot of John and Kris's fans and supporters that helped us fund it. The message was exactly what I wanted it to be. The storyline of them getting prepped for another mission, me being part of that, getting Barrett to come in and Barrett's right down the road from where we filmed, and they brought in the firearms. So there was a lot of logistics that went into making that that in particular happen. And that video was Crank It was great because I was all over national television with my first music video and song. It was all over the place. But Burn was really the stepping stone to the next, level when it came to getting discovered by the PBR and how that all went down. So, but hopefully that was answered your question.
Oh, it's amazing detail. PBR, you're still involved with that, right? Am I?
No.
You're not, right? Okay.
The professional bull riders, generally speaking, uses entertainment for 1 year, and they gave me I actually performed for 2 years with them, and they sent me to Australia. So I was fortunate to have 2 years to be able to do that. The Celebrate America campaign was their 25th anniversary Celebrate America campaign and honoring fallen law enforcement, first responders, military, and border patrol. That's where the Never Forgotten tribute video was from.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, so they and you're probably, I don't know. I guess they're still around. I don't know much about them, so I guess I'm trying to.
Yeah, they're massive.
Oh yeah,
they're massive.
They're massive.
Who's like the artist now? Like who is like? Who, do they just keep continuing to get? And I guess my question
Kid
to
Rock
that is based on like what IMG owning them. Like I'm just trying to, like how much.
Kid Rock is now the one that's working with them. I know Kid Rock is
right?
one of, but he's not like performing at every event.
Yeah,
I think he has one event that's his specifically. I do know that. I mean, Steven Tyler from Aerosmith was the artist that they were using the year before. Then they used, I can't remember, Black Cherry. It wasn't Black Cherry Smoke. It was somebody else. I mean, there was, I mean, they've rotated through, and I don't even know if they have somebody that is like that took on the same kind of role that I did, because I was considered the patriotic voice, the professional bull riders. Right. But I'm not familiar with it. But I mean, I'm gonna tell you, if anybody of your watcher, your viewers out there have never been to a professional bull rider event, buy the VIP passes and go. It is one of the
I've
most.
never been. I got to be honest.
I've never
Zero,
been.
dude. I'm telling you.
Really?
Both you guys, I'm telling you, it is something. If you want, go to one of their big ones, the Monster Tour.
Yeah.
Because those are I think it's the top 35 bull riders in the world competing. And these bulls, they're as big as your car. These are not like your normal. I mean, these are not like your normal bulls. When you see these things, they're massive, and they all have to. The bulls actually have to qualify to compete in the professional bull riders as well.
Oh, I guess that makes sense.
They're the best of the best bulls that you can get. The stock contractors. I mean, these bulls are multi-million-dollar bulls. They're bred specifically to buck. They love doing what they do. They're treated like kings. They're treated like royalty. Wow. I've never seen anything like it. But I mean, because you have all the PETA and all those, they're trying to ban them because they say it's animal abuse. Yeah. These bulls, it's like a racehorse. I mean, the racehorses are bred to race. Barrel racers, they're bred.
You don't want the bulls to die. I mean, that's the whole. That's
you don't want them to hurt. You don't want them to get hurt.
It's not a bull fighting. It's bull riding. Yeah.
Because Dale, remember the cowboy hat I have now? I have something to wear it to. Because in Indiana, I can't really wear the cowboy hat, so now I have something to wear it to. Yeah, I'm kind of excited.
Maybe you can get a job as a. Do they have the rodeo clowns when they're at the professional?
Knew that was coming.
Yeah, they have. Was this? Is this a joke question? Just making sure.
No, it's actually a serious question. I think Jim would qualify.
A serious question.
But my serious question is, do they have it? Yeah, I mean, is it basically like that?
It's not the same way as rodeo is run.
It's rodeos. Okay.
First off, it's only bulls. That's all it is. It's only bulls. But they have an entertainer that Flint Rasmussen used to be the PBR official entertainer of the PBR as a clown. He's makeup as a clown. I think he retired. I think they got another guy doing it now. But now they have the role that the clowns play in rodeo. The traditional role was also as a protection for the bull riders. Now they have what are called protection athletes. For the professional bull riders has protection athletes. That's what they do, and they don't dress up as clowns. They're legitimately athletes that that their sole job is to do that and not necessarily to entertain as much. They're there to protect the athletes.
So who's crazier, those guys or the rider?
Both of them are. They're all equally crazy. Yeah, they're all equally crazy.
Insane.
I mean, I've seen. I mean, when you got somebody, I mean, it's like law enforcement and our, law enforcement, first responders, our military, they're the ones that run towards danger. Those protection athletes, they put themselves in between the bull and the rider. But for that rider to even get on, man, let me tell you something. We used to do these mini bull riding. The mini bulls, they would ride, kids would ride these things. So they start off mutton busting on sheep, Get to see that crazy shit. And then they have the mini bull circuit now. And the mini bull circuit is essentially the farm league now for kids in the Western world to get into professional bull riding at whatever level, whether it's the lower level series or the higher level series. But anyway, they used to bring in the mini bulls that they just go They're not like some of
They're
these
not.
mini bulls are crazy, but they would bring in like a super passive one and bring in like Holly Holmes from the UFC, and she'd get on him, that kind of stuff. They're like, Ryan, you want to get on him? Like, no, I'm not getting on the mini bull. I have no desire to even get on a mini bull, because if I break my ankle hopping off that son of a bitch, I can't perform on stage.
You're
for
right.
any reason whatsoever. And I said, I am too freaking old for that, first off. And second off, I don't want to injure myself in any way possible. But these bull riders are nuts, man.
They are nuts. Isn't it amazing
who flew Black Hawk helicopters?
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Isn't it amazing how your perspective changes?
I couldn't do either one.
What you're doing, in
Trust
life
me,
and your age. Yeah.
Trust me, the number of times I almost freaking crashed a helicopter too. I don't like flying in I don't like being up in the air and anything other than commercial airline either.
Wow.
I hear you.
As we get older, you realize that the stupid shit you shouldn't be doing, you don't do it.
Exactly.
You don't do it. Yep, I know.
Okay, so let's talk about the song that you just released this year, correct?
What you think about
what
me.
you think of me.
Right.
And I dare anybody to listen to that song and know the story behind it and not feel emotion.
And watch, and I'm gonna say something too. Watch the full, like what you sent me, the download version,
a director's cut. Yeah,
the director's cut
watch
of it. Watch that version. It's all over YouTube. It's been out a couple months. Am I not wrong about that? At this point, it's got 80,000.
It came out on the 20th anniversary of Aaron's death. It came out on January 8th. Actually, we released it on the 20th anniversary of the last day I saw him alive, which was January 4th.
Oh wow!
So I watched. Both of us watched the News Nation interview, and so if I remember correctly, you wrote it 10 years, and you just released it. Was that purposely to be done on the 20th anniversary, or has it just took you that long to get able to release it?
Well, we had first off, I wanted to make sure that I could fund an appropriate music video for it, because I haven't released this with this independent record label that I told you about. I haven't. It'll be the first time I actually release an EP that is all of my stuff. Other than the Celebrate America EP, PBR owns that. It's not mine. They bought us out of our rights. This one will be my first EP that I released. I've only released singles, and a couple of singles I've released without music videos, but the ones that I like, Burn, Crank It, Let's Talk About Heroes, this one, What You Think of Me, I wanted to make sure that this song is the most important song that I've written in my music career. The reason why I started music was the reason I wrote this song. Correct. And Craig Wilson, who also wrote Burn with me, he and I actually wrote this song on the 10th anniversary of Aaron's death in my living room. It's the only song that I ever put out on YouTube after I wrote it. So you can actually, if you want to see the original song as we wrote it, right after we wrote it, I recorded that recording and put it out on YouTube as well. And you can see how the lyrics were adjusted, and on a few things, we adjusted the lyrics as we went along, and you revise and revise and revise. But we came out with, I was pushing Crank It, until we wrote this one in 2014. So Crank It was there, and then 2014 came along, and Burn was starting to get into the mix. And obviously the 2014-2015 situation with the Benghazi situation went down, and then I met those guys. So I didn't want to take away from What You Think of Me, because we knew that Burn was going to turn into something. It was going to, and I didn't want to focus. I didn't want to take that away from it. And plus, then we got discovered in 2016 by the Professional Bull Riders, and we wrote Never Forgotten. So then I had a song that was very similar in theme, and I didn't want to take away from What You Think of Me again in that regard. So it was kind of, there was one thing after another that really just didn't make it the right timing, and also funding wise to be able to get the music video done. And then when it came down to the 20th anniversary, essentially, I'll be honest with you, I worked for years to try and get that thing funded. And of course, COVID jacked everything up. Made it difficult for anybody to, just my shows all got canceled. My speaking engagements all got canceled. And all of a sudden, thank God for my partner brands because I had retirement money, but my partner brands were helping me pay my bills. No money to be able to invest in recording, no money to be able to invest in music videos. And we needed to make sure that What You Think of Me was recorded properly and the music video is funded. So, year before last, last year, not the year before last, but last year I was at the Warrior Shield Foundation event down in, you have to come, by the way. How close are you to Orlando, Dale?
I'm a 6 hour. Well, I'm in the Panhandle, but so it's about a 6 hour drive, but it's not bad at all.
Yeah, you have to come down. Warrior Weekend is September 6th, 7th, and 8th. Warrior Weekend with the Warrior Shield Foundation in Orlando. I'm headlining that concert. Bo Bice from American Idol is actually opening for me. So, but you have to come down that weekend, and if anything, you could run your podcast out of there and interview Warrior Shield Foundation folks. But I'll connect you with Chance Showell, who's the president of the Warrior Shield Foundation. And we're supporting the Sub-Zero mission this year, which is for homeless veterans. Essentially, it's a fundraising weekend for another nonprofit. Anyway, I digress. But I was at last year's Warrior Shield Foundation event, and I sang "What You Think of Me" on stage, and I said, we're coming up on the 20th anniversary of Aaron's death, and we've been working hard to get this thing funded. And I said it's been extremely difficult. It's been like wading through wet concrete to try and get it done. And two of the people that were there said, "What do you need?" And so we ended up getting it funded and then raising additional money on top of it to fund the extra stuff. And then from September until December, we went from not having any money to having it funded, getting the video done, getting it edited, and then released on January 4th. It took us, it was that quick, which none of my other videos took. They took so much longer than that.
Yeah.
But so anyway, we got it released, and the concept of the video has been in my head for 10 years. Wrote the song obviously on January 8th of 2014. The song has been in my head, trying to get something like that done for Aaron. It was a 20-year project, but once we got the video funded, everything that we wanted to do, or that the concept of the video, I mean, I had every single shot in my head. I knew exactly how I wanted it to be done. And then we ran into a bunch of logistical issues. And watch the video. I want to tell you guys something. We did that entire football game with 15 players. 15 total football players. 15 total, because we had two high schools that were supposed to be involved in this. One of the high schools backed out because they were going to be the losing team, and they thought it was going to make their high school look bad.
Wow.
But they didn't they had no idea. They had no idea what they were missing out on. So the other high school said, yes, we're glad to help. Pinewood High School, which is where we filmed it all. And several of the Tatnall players from the Tatnall High School actually were in it as well. But both the teams had just one of the teams that just won districts and was going to regionals. They had just won it the night before, and we were filming on Saturday.
Oh, wow.
So we ended up losing 2 weeks prior to, we ended up losing our main actor, who the kid who stepped in had no acting experience whatsoever. I mean, obviously you could tell they're not all professional actors. They're volunteers to get all stuff. So anyway, so we lost our main actor like 2 weeks prior to, had to find somebody. We lost the high school we were actually originally supposed to film it at, had to film it a second one. We filmed that whole thing with 15 players. A lot of the players that are on offense are also on defense. They had to change out their uniforms. We're using the practice uniforms for the dark team, the real uniforms and the away and that kind of stuff. And it was just like, but we were running, and then it went from supposed to be 70 degrees and beautiful to 45 degrees and rain straight sideways. So our crowd for that whole football game that was supposed to fill up the stadium didn't show up because everybody thought it was canceled. So they're calling cell phone numbers like, where is everybody? Where is everybody? So we ended up filming with 50 people total in the crowd. So you had to do close-up shots and all that kind of stuff, and cinema magic and whatnot.
Yeah.
But all the plays that were that we had set in our we had a shot list put out. I mean, it was like a 10-page shot list of each shot that we wanted done. We were able to get the vast majority of those shots done. The storyline, I think, turned out really well. It flowed really well. The people that came in to volunteer to work and act. This kid was nervous could be. I think that he did great for stepping in last minute to be able to honor my brother, to play me.
That's the key.
It was great. And fortunately, he actually was a quarterback in football, so it helped us out with that.
Sure.
So he knew a little bit of what he was doing, but so I mean,
wow.
I think that, I have to give a huge shout out to Andy Whitaker and Cami Bambini. They were the ones that stepped up at the beginning, and everybody else that jumped on board to help us get this funded. There were so many folks that got involved. The Iron Will movie, I don't know if you've heard about that. It was one of the producers on it. I was in that movie, that documentary. If you guys want to watch that,
Iron Will.
Iron Will. It's a movie about PTS. Essentially, it's a bunch of us talking about what we've gone through and what we've dealt with to help others know that they're not alone out there.
Yeah.
But they were one of the sponsors in it. I mean, Heath Smith, his family, he's an executive producer on it as well. They just really, they're just incredible human beings. They're family to me. I got my brother in there. He actually plays my dad. My dad passed away last year in January. He plays my dad in it, which is really cool that I get my older brother playing my dad to me. And
honor your brother.
So, that is cool.
There's just it was just really cool. I mean, here, hold on a sec. So you could see you have Aaron. There's Aaron, Steve, and I at my flight school graduation. I graduated top of my class of flight school, and they were there. But the folks that watch the video will recognize Steve in there. But
that's it. Yep. I do.
But so there was just so much to it, and I knew it was going to be a long video. Here's another cool thing, another little factoid about it. So Dean Sams, who is the guy playing piano in there, he is the keyboard player for Lone Star. The band Lone Star. And so my first karaoke competition that I ever did was at Blues Canyon in Dothan, Alabama. And Steve was actually there. My brother was there. He was training for Yugoslavia. He was going over, he was getting deployed, but he was in town at Fort Rucker. And we went down to Blues Canyon, and I entered into my first singing competition, karaoke competition there. And I sang Amazed by Lone Star, and I won.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it just so happens.
Awesome.
And that is in 2000. And 24 years later.
That's incredible. Full
24 years later, Dean Sams, the keyboard player for Lone Star, produced the song. He actually produced What You Think of Me.
Oh, okay.
And produced What You Think of Me. And it performed in the music video with me in the performance scenes playing piano. So and he and I, and another thing, he and I were connected by Tony Ryan, who was the lead actor in No Second Chance, the music video No Second Chance with me. If you haven't seen No Second Chance. But Tony, he passed away last year as well from cancer. But Tony connected Dean Sams and I together. And so all of these things have meaning. It's not just hey, I'm going out and I'm flying helicopters and airplanes and riding in Corvette and all that stuff with Tony Ryan. That was supposed to be his celebration of life video. Anyway, but Tony Ryan was the one that connected Dean Sams and us and I together. And we're fortunate to be able to get What You Think of Me out on the 20th anniversary of the last day I saw Aaron alive in Iraq.
That's amazing. That's amazing how there was a higher force that put all that together.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely what happened there. There's no way the timing could have worked out any other way.
I'm sure he's very proud of what you did. I'm serious. I'm not, it's a challenge to anybody to watch the video, listen to the song and not get emotional. It's absolutely
an incredible song. Incredible song. Beautiful tribute.
We're going to try and film a behind the scenes on it as well. We want to try and film it behind the scenes because every single piece of what's in there in that video, there's everything has a meaning to it. The kid is wearing my dog, my honor tag that I wear. His sister Shannon is actually plays his older sister, but she's my younger sister in real life. She's wearing Randy, my brother-in-law's honor tag in there. Number 10, I took over Aaron's number 10. When I was number 7, he was number 10. When he went out of high school, I took over his number 10. We used to always go up to his room when he was a senior in high school. He'd come home from soccer practice. We'd go up to his room and hang out in his room together. That whole opening room scene is a reenactment of when we were teenagers in high school, hanging out in his room, having a conversation with each other. Wow. I'm trying to think of the other, like when he's before the pep rally, when he's in the hallway and he's doing all this kind of stuff. That's what I do before my shows. Like I'm backstage and I'm dancing around and I'm doing this and I'm bouncing around doing all that stuff. So that's me. And then we used to call each other Big Weave and Little Weave. That's where you hear my brother say, you're the big weave and you're the little weave. And Aaron says that too. And then Shannon says that. And then, I don't know if you noticed, but Greg Gadsden from Battleship, the movie Battleship, is in there, the coach. So the black guy, the head coach is Greg Gadsden, the one that does the speech. Yep. He was the guy who saved the world in the movie Battleship. He's a great friend of mine. Wow. Great friend of mine. Wow. Yep.
Yeah.
My wife is actually in this one. She's the principal. She's in. My wife is actually in this one too. She was in Crank It. A blip in Crank It, and she's the tall blonde in this one as well. Chance Showell, who's the president of the Shadow Warrior Riders Motorcycle Club, but also the president of the Warrior Shield Foundation. He's the coach that says, "You good, bro?" He's one of Trey is my bass player. If you watch Burn, he's the bearded guy. He's my so all my best friends. My brother is in there. My wife is in there. You have all these folks that are the Gear Apparel folks are in there. And then you have volunteer folks. A lot of volunteer folks that came on board and supported it all. So he's Smith. He's the executive producer. He's in there as one of the coaches as well. So
so what I'm hearing, Dale, is because I will try if you're serious about this, we'll try to go to that thing on September 6th, 7th, and 8th. I'm hearing he wants us to be his backup singers, is what I'm hearing.
I can't.
You got to be. I want backup. I need backup dancers, but you can only do it. You can only do it in a leopard speedo.
Don't challenge us. We'll do it.
I'll do if it helps the cause. I'm willing to do it.
He's like, I'm out. leopard thong, cowboy boots, and a pink sequin Beyonce cowboy hat.
Yep,
Ryan. You know what our wives are saying right when they listen to this one?
That'll get me on the front of a Bud Light can.
Because they know darn well we'll do it.
Now
we will do it.
This is just my suggestion to you guys. Just my suggestion. An awesome opportunity for you guys to get multiple podcast interviews with heroes, with nonprofit organizations, with the Warrior Shield Foundation. I mean, John Teigen's going to be there.
Wow. Okay.
Greg Gadsden's going to be there. And I mean, you have an opportunity to essentially, and what I'll do is I'll make a connection with you guys and Chance Showell, and my pitch to him would be, we want to come and cover your event and get as many podcasts that we can for advertisement. And, essentially to get a return on your investment, return on your investment, say, hey, we'd love to do all this kind of stuff. And if we could just be listed as one of your sponsors or whatever it may be, that way everybody's going to know who you are. Set up a booth because it's a great hotel. Set up a recording production booth. I think it'd be an awesome opportunity for you guys to do exactly what you want to do, but also you're going to have an amazing time that weekend.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Incredible.
The return on investment would be to be able to push this.
The honor.
That's the honor to be able to come down and talk to these people. We don't do this for money.
Nope.
Your time is an investment, even whether it's not necessarily about money. I mean, the bottom line is this: I love working for supporting nonprofit organizations, but I have to have an ROI as far as my time is concerned. I have to
Correct.
feel one that their time is valuable and that the organization is doing the right thing. But also, I want to make sure that we're going to have a huge exposure for that nonprofit organization, and to me, that's my ROI when it comes to it as well. But yeah,
I
so
agree.
I'll make
I
the
agree.
connection with
So,
you guys.
Yeah, please do that, and tell me here about the gear you're wearing and about Great Gear. Do you mind like talking about who they are? Do you
Absolutely.
care? Or because I absolutely want to look into them, and I think our listeners and audience should do it.
Yeah,
as
and
well.
I want the T-shirt.
So-
I won't look that good in the T-shirt, but I like the T-shirt.
Jim.
So we, I
Just
actually
saying.
I have several partner brands that I work with. Great Gear Apparel is a small family American-owned business. They're not military, but they're massive military or hero supporters. I've been a partner brand with them for a couple of years now. I have a line of shirts with them. They have their own shirts as well, Great Gear Apparel shirts. But you can go search on RyanWeaver.net, my website. It'll take you right to all of my line if you want specifically mine. Like this is the Top Gun themed Freedom shirt. But we have several other ones. We just came out with the Great MAGA Too Big to Rig shirt. That's one of my partner brands. My other one is Patch Ops. And you notice I have a matching patch for my shirt here.
Oh, you do?
That's my Freedom. The Freedom.
Oh,
but that's
I love it.
That's actually a Patch Ops.
That's awesome.
It's a Patch Ops patch. Veteran owned. Tim Hickey, Patch Ops is actually, he's the one that introduced me to the Sub-Zero mission, which is who the Warrior Shield Foundation is supporting this year.
Okay.
Another Great Gear Apparel is one of the sponsors. They're the ones I believe that are providing the shirts. Another awesome company I'm working with is Rockwell Watches. It's a civilian-owned company, and here's a. It's not out yet, but I'm going to reveal here.
Here we go.
I just got my three watches from my watch line just arrived yesterday.
You're kidding me.
The prototypes I just got. I have 3 different watches that are going to be the Ryan Weaver We the People watch line with Rockwell Watches. They support our heroes.
Nice.
Yep. And they have a hero campaign where if you purchase a watch or sunglasses at full price, you can get a free hero watch out of their hero line to give to a hero. So you can get law enforcement, military, and all of my watches will be part of that hero campaign. So whenever you buy, but we're going to be releasing those shortly. I'm excited that I just got those out. I work with, hold on, one more.
In that Rockwell watches, you said also does sunglasses?
They do sunglasses. Yeah. Here, I mean, I got.
I want those socks. Wait a second.
Yeah.
He's showing me. Oh, here's the sunglasses.
I mean, they're cool sunglasses. One of the, it's one of their
cool.
Yeah, just regular. They got a ton of different kinds of sunglasses. They have patriotic socks. Here are 2 different kinds of socks. They sent me socks, 2 patriotic socks. But yeah, I mean, I got all kinds of stuff, man. But my watch line is going to be coming out shortly. I also work with Forged America. Heath Smith, who is the executive producer on What You Think of Me, he does all my leather for me. I don't have any of my leather up here. He does he's got cool leather,
like that.
stuff like that.
Yep.
But so I've got so many different partner brands. It's crazy. Liberty Home Concealment. I saw you got a flag behind you. We got a Liberty Home Concealment lockable wooden safe for your home protection devices.
My protection devices.
Got a line with them as well. We got a Freedom line with them, but we've also got regular, our line. So just a ton of different partners. But I appreciate you letting me pimp them out. By the way, if you decide to go to a rodeo, you can look online. I have look up Ryan Weaver Old Glory boots, cowboy boots. They have those as well if you wear cowboy boots.
It'll match my hat.
Yep. The only thing I haven't done yet is sweatpants and underwear.
I got sweatpants. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll wear Ryan Weaver underwear. Is that?
My big old nose right there on your junk. That'd be perfect.
I'll send you a pic. I'll text it to you, Ryan. That's
welcome to Weaver Country. In my junk.
That's right. We have some videos for you to see.
That's funny.
Is there a picture of Biden on the back of them by any chance?
Yeah, right where your shit stain is. Right where your shit stain is.
Oh my god, that's awesome.
That is awesome. It's perfect. We didn't even get into politics. Why do we need to? I think we know what the hell is happening. So
it's great. Man.
Will you come back sometime? I mean,
man, I'd love to. I'll come on anytime you guys are happy, and especially when we're down there. Like if we can get some great content, especially. I mean, that's September 6th.
That's plenty of time. Yeah, I'm down for it.
And we could. I mean, if you want to pimp out that event later on another podcast, anytime you want to have me on, I'd love to. I'd love to come on and yeah, man. But,
I absolutely will.
We usually go somewhere once a year, and
we do.
We're not going to the same place that we usually go to.
Yeah.
So this would be even better. One, I think we probably get our wives to go to it with us.
This makes a bigger
they'll love
impact
it.
for. I think it's better
our wives
for.
will probably go with us too, then, because it's.
Well, I mean, the gala night, they can dress up if they like to dress up for the gala night. Friday night is a concert. You can go to the Warrior Shield Foundation.org. Has all the information on the events. I also posted on my Instagram at Ryan Weaver Country. Blue check mark. If it doesn't have a blue check mark, it's not me, because there are a bunch of fake people out there targeting women. There are so many pages targeting. Anyway,
you're kidding me.
But I posted the schedule of events for the Warrior Shield or the Warrior Weekend. It's downtown Orlando on I-Drive, so there's a lot to do around there. If you decide that you want to extend and go to the parks or whatever it may be. But the weekend itself, man, it's a great networking, camaraderie, fundraising weekend. The purpose of the weekend is to fundraise. One of the purposes, I would say, is to fundraise, but that's not the sole purpose. The sole purpose is to get warriors together, because those kind of events, those kind of activities for warriors are amazing when it comes to dealing with PTS, knowing that you're not alone, having something to look forward to, but also getting to meet like-minded people who care about our heroes in our communities and want to support our heroes in our communities. And I will tell you, you're going to fall in love with everybody there. A lot of the folks have been there since the inception of this organization that have come to these events year after year after year, because it's like a big family getting together, and you guys will be instantly part of that family whenever you come there. You'll love it. Your wives will love it. They got a nice pool. They got great bars right there at the pool. It's a giant hotel. Yeah, we love it.
Yeah,
you had me at bars.
There you go. Well, we have to drink some tequila. Are you a tequila drinker?
Yes,
I can. Yeah,
you can.
I can.
Yeah, I'm more of a bourbon guy.
He's going to wear those leopard. So. We love bourbon. Yeah,
you'll meet several folks that are obviously it's military, a bunch of military and law enforcement, but a lot of bourbon drinkers. But I think there's a bourbon company. I think it's Hoots. Hoot from. I think it's his company, his bourbon company. He does his bourbon and cigars. I think it's his. I may be right. But there'll be tons of opportunity to have some bourbons and tequilas or whatever. But but you'll get to meet everybody that's in my inner circle is going to be there. Yeah. Everybody that I care about. And for all your viewers out there, just letting you know, I won't put my name behind an organization that is not 100% legit. I don't. Yep. I will call out organizations that are spending more money on bullshit than they're spending on our heroes. Yep. Warrior Shield Foundation is an all volunteer organization. Chance may eventually, because it's growing so fast, he may end up having to quit his job and actually get paid. Because Warrior Shield Foundation is expanding. He's doing the best that he can. He's done the best that he can not to do that. But the bottom line is it takes somebody dedicated all the time to be able to do it.
At some point they have to.
I mean, he's a retired federal air marshal, and he's working a security job at he's the head of security at one of the resorts down there. It takes up a lot of time, and doing nonprofit work takes up a lot of time. And if you want to take advantage, raise the most amount of money you possibly can, you got to have somebody that's 100% dedicated to the cause in that regard. Right. But I will say, though, up to this point, if anybody wants to get involved in this organization, sponsor, attend, buy some tables, whatever it is, buy a table for heroes to sit at, whatever it may be, come and watch a concert. We're going to blow the roof off the place on Friday night. Hang out,
awesome.
network on Saturday, do the gala Saturday night. I think there's a motorcycle ride. I don't know if you guys have motorcycles. They have,
I do.
We lost Dale. But
am I here?
But we
hold
have
on.
motors.
You might have issues. It'll come back.
You're back.
Am I back?
I can see.
Yeah, it'll come back.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Can you see it?
Yeah, great networking opportunity. Great opportunity just for fellowship and hanging around with like-minded people.
Yeah.
That would be
that'll
awesome.
be great.
That would be absolutely
please
fantastic.
please do. I
Yeah.
mean, we'll look it up, hook us up if you can. I mean, with some names or who we can talk to. We'll make sure that
I'll
we're
hook
a
up you
part
with
of it.
the
We
man.
want to be a part of it.
I'll hook you up with the man who can. I mean, if you guys don't come down and do podcast stuff on that, I think you'll be missing out on a huge opportunity in that regard. The content's gonna be crazy in that regard. But if not, if you just want to come down to attend, by all means,
no,
please.
we'll come down. We want to do that. We want to podcast and do some interviews and talk to whoever
Like I
we
said,
can.
it would be nice to do that, but the whole point would be down there for what it's for, what the reason is. Kind of bring all that
100%.
stuff. Because we try to do whatever we can. This is all we can do. So
I mean,
we appreciate that.
Yep. Ryan, before I'm apparently my bat signal is getting a little weak on my end. So before I lose all that again, it was such a pleasure to meet you. Like I'm so glad Sandra hooked us up. Consider you a friend. We're honored to know you. We thank you for your service, for your family service, and for their loss and everything they've gone through for this country and what you continue to do for our country. Anyway, we can support it, like this, we will do it. When you want to come back and honestly, the invitation's open to you. You got something you want to talk about? And we haven't talked in a day or a couple days or a week or whatever it is. Let us know and say, hey, I want to talk about this. This is what I want to do. And the show's yours. So
I appreciate
again,
it. Thanks so much.
Our honor from both of us. We thank you and we'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Sounds great. I appreciate it.
Thanks.
Jim and Dale, you guys have a good one. Thanks so much.
You too.
Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it. Bye.
It is important to remember that some of us come home at a price, and that some families are not so fortunate to have loved ones come home at all. Give thanks that you may reach that place. I do. CW2 Aaron A. Weaver, KIA 8 January 2004, Iraq.
13 Hotel, inbound.
Let it up! When you dare to take a breath, don't care about no medals on your chest. You're a steely-eyed killer shadow in the night. You were born to fight. You gotta light 'em up before they burn it down. Better dig deep and put 'em in the ground. Blood on their hands, they're hellbound. Save us all before they burn it down. It's a long way to home, but you won't take the hard road all alone. Just look to your left and look to your right. You were born to fight. You gotta light 'em up before they burn it down. Better dig deep and put 'em in the ground. Blood on their hands, they're hellbound. Save us all before they burn it down. before they burn it down.